All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining me today for another Nimble training webinar. Today we're going to go over the entire application. We're currently having technical difficulties today, so unfortunately I won't be showing Outlook and mobile today, but we've covered them in previous webinars that can be accessed on YouTube. If you have any questions or feedback during today's session, please feel free to type them into the questions box and we'll cover them at the end of today's session. Now, before we get started, I want to take a couple minutes discussing what Nimble actually is for any of our new users today. So, as you may know, Nimble is the easy-to-use CRM that works for you in Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, and everywhere else you work. It automatically combines your contacts, communication histories, email inboxes, and calendar appointments. It's also really easy to use on any social media app or any web app. And I'll go over how you can do that later today. So let me get out of this presentation and show you the actual Nimble page. Let me full screen that for you. All right, so here we are on Nimble's Today page. This page was designed to be completely customizable to to fit your specific needs and the role you play in your company. And before the Today page can start to look like this, fully populated with all of this information, we have to start with importing contacts and connecting accounts. And you can do that by going to this top right corner bubble. It'll have a little icon for you. For me, it says V because my name is Vivian, but it might look different for you if you change your profile picture or what have you. So you click this little bubble up here, then go down to Networks and Imports, and then click that. Once the page loads, you'll be over here, and this is where you can connect your emails, calendars, and also import your Google and Outlook contacts. So let's first start with checking to see if your email is connected or with connecting your email. So you can click that email accounts button and connect your email this way. And I do want to say that Nimble supports all email providers as long as they are IMAP. That's IMAP. Unfortunately, we don't support POP. That's POP. But even if your email is POP, try contacting your email provider to see if they can enable IMAP for you. So that's email. Let's go back now. If you're using Microsoft 365, which I saw that a lot of you were, we have great news for you because connecting your email and calendars and even importing your contacts can be done with just one click. So if we go to this box here, you can see that it opens up this menu here. If you have all three of these checked and click Connect Microsoft 365, then simultaneously you can connect your email, contacts, and calendar. So if I click that, it's just going to put up this window here. It says my account's already connected, but it'll auto-detect your account for you and do all of these things with that one click. And just so you know, since we are kind of moving into importing contacts, if you have this contacts button checked here, we recommend that you tag all of the contacts that you import. This way it'll make it really easy for you and your teammates to be able to track where each contact came from, when they were uploaded, etc. We have some previous webinars and upcoming webinars as well that will go over in depth how you can use tags to best organize your contact database. And we can go over which webinars to look out for at the very end of this webinar. Okay, so that's Microsoft 365. All right, and for our Gmail users, and I saw that there were a lot of you as well, same concept. You just click this Connect to G Suite account, and then we have these two buttons here. You can connect your calendars, or you can connect your email and contacts. And these do basically the same thing. So if I click this here, it'll have this little pop-up and I can choose the account that I'd like to connect. and then that'll be it. We also have the option to connect other accounts. So here, if I scroll down, you can see I have my email here. My Twitter here. I can connect more email accounts. I can connect different social networks. And this all depends on which accounts you'd like to have connected to Nimble. Nimble directly integrates with Twitter, which means that you can see all of your Twitter interactions with your contacts within the contact database alongside your email interactions with them, which is really, really useful, especially if you do a lot of social selling or if you say work in like influencer marketing and you want to keep track of people's social media accounts. This is a really great feature. Unfortunately, Facebook and LinkedIn, along with Instagram, made the business decision a few years ago to close their APIs. So we're currently not able to directly integrate with them, but we do make it possible for you to use Nimble on all of your favorite social media networks via our browser extension called Nimble Prospector. And I can show you what that looks like and how to use it later in the webinar. And speaking of LinkedIn, it is possible to import your LinkedIn connections into Nimble by downloading them from your LinkedIn account and then using our CSV import to bring them into Nimble. And so let me show you where to find that. So if we go all the way up to this Networks and Imports page, we have this little Quick Connect bar here. And in the Quick Connect bar, the second one will be CSV. You can just click that and then upload CSV file. All right, so speaking of CSV files, they're a really convenient way to import your contacts since many companies track their customers and prospects with spreadsheets. So for LinkedIn or for any other CSV files that you have, when you're importing them into Nimble, you can do this one of a couple ways. So you can either first make sure that all your column names correspond with the names of the fields in Nimble, or you can manually map them upon import. So if I go to this saved mappings thing that I have, it's just a draft of the CSV that I'm trying to upload. You can see that I have these column names here, and then the different fields. So you can either make sure that these already match in your spreadsheet and your spreadsheet's already clean, or you can upload it and save it as a new mapping and like customize it with these fields and stuff here. We also have a lot of saved mapping or previously saved mappings here because a lot of these CSV files look pretty similar and odds are we've already encountered something of that kind before. So here you can see we have LinkedIn, and if I click that, well, some columns are missing in this file that I have, but if I were to click that and upload a LinkedIn CSV file, it'll automatically take all of those column names and translate them into a contact record for you. All right, so that covers connecting your accounts and importing your contacts. And I just want to reiterate that whenever you import contacts, please, please, please make sure that you tag them. This makes it so much easier to keep your database clean and tidy and easy for you to use in the long run. The last thing that you want is for your database to get cluttered and too difficult to use, and you don't want to put too much cleaning and organizing on your plate. CRM is definitely supposed to help you with your work. You're not supposed to give too much time into organizing it. All right, so now that we're done with all of that, let's go back to the Today page. All right, so here we are in our Today page. Now that your emails and calendars are connected and your contacts have been imported, the Today page will be populated with all of this valuable business information. As I said, the Today page is completely customizable, so you and everybody else in your company can pick what widgets they want to see and where they kind of lie on this page. The widgets can also be moved around, removed, and duplicated. And there are a couple ways you can do this. So the first way is this Manage Widgets button. It's at the very top right corner. It has this little gear. So you just click that and it opens this menu. And here you can also customize a little bit. You can add your company logo. You can change your cover photo. As you can see, kind of in this blurred background, I have a little screenshot from the movie Kiki's Delivery Service, which is one of my favorite movies. And so you can do whatever you want up here. And then down here, we have all of the widgets, and they can be moved by grabbing these like 6 little dots in the top right corner, and you can drag and drop them. So let's close that. The other way to move around your widgets is with this little 3-dot option button here on the very top right corner of each widget. And as you can see, if you click it, it opens this drop-down menu. We have Move Widget, Hide, and Duplicate. And also duplicating your widgets is very useful if you'd like to, for example, be able to see your personal calendar in one box and your team calendar in the other box. You can also do this with tasks. For example, if you'd like to see only your open tasks and your team members' open tasks, instead of having to click this drop-down menu every single time, you can just make like a dual view. Again, the possibilities are endless. It's all up to you how you'd like to customize this page. All right, and so let's talk about each one of these widgets now. I'm gonna scroll down and start with call logging. This widget can help you track all of your interactions with your customers to help you stay on top of your follow-ups, improve relationships, and measure your team's success. Next up, we have our custom activities, which is right here. This widget will allow you to display all of your pending, completed, and overdue custom activities. You're also able to star them, mark them as important, and you can also change the kinds of activities that you see. So right now I have it on my pending activities, but you can also put it to your team's pending activities or your team's completed activities. Next up, we have deals. Let me scroll all the way up. So here is the deals widget on the top in the middle. And this can help you check the status of your deals and your overall pipeline while taking progressive action directly from your dashboard. So you can click each deal to access engagement history and current insights on the key contacts in that deal. You can also update deal statuses, add notes to existing deals, or even create new deals, all from within this little widget here. On the topic of deals, we have your stage funnel here, and this will allow you to track your sales funnel, monitor your active prospects, leads, and opportunities at each stage, and see a quick overview of your stages to know where you need to focus to meet your goals. And for me, on my Today page, I have right below it the pipeline chart. And this widget shows all of your deals organized by date. And the color coding on each bar gives you a visual of the amount for the deals you're managing by the stage they're in for that month. Next up, we have tasks, or the to-do list, whichever you'd like to call it. And this widget will help you follow through on all of your to-dos. You can see your open tasks, upcoming, overdue, completed, important, as well as your team's tasks. And again, to do that, you can just open this drop-down menu and click the view you'd like to see. Or if you'd like to alternate between these views very frequently, you can go ahead and duplicate that widget and then set them each to the view that you'd like. Next, we have the Events tab, or Events widget. Other people like to call this the Calendar widget. Again, whichever you'd like to call it. This will allow you to review your meetings for that day or other important events that you might have. And you can select from the drop-down menu which calendar you'd like to see. We're almost done, I promise. The Signals widget right here will show you how your prospects and customers are interacting with you on Twitter. And like I said, Nimble directly integrates with Twitter, so this is a very useful tool for you if you do social selling or you work with influencers, etc. If you spend a lot of time on social media, this is probably something you're going to want to keep at the very top. And then lastly, we have highlighted contacts. This widget will give you the option to see important contacts based on parameters you've set, such as title, location, company, or interests. And to personalize the suggestions that you get for highlighted contacts, you can edit the search criteria within contact keywords in your Nimble settings. To review, to access settings, we go up here to this little icon bubble at the top right, and then you can go down to settings, and highlighted contacts will be here on the left bar with all of these options, and you can add more criteria here. Or you can delete these and just have a completely different set of criteria. It's up to you which contacts you'd like to highlight. And so speaking of contacts, let's move on to the contacts page. And this is probably the page that you're going to be spending the most time in. Nimble has a lot of awesome features, but it is a contact database at its heart, and you can easily see all of the different kinds of contacts. We have all up here, and then I'm just going to go down the list. People, so this is just individuals, and then we have just companies if you click the companies option. You can also mark contacts as important and have them show up here. Recently viewed, recently added, recently contacted, people you have stay in touch reminders with, and also people you've removed. So let's review what an individual contact record looks like in Nimble. So let's go to my most important contacts. And as you may know, this is John Ferrara. He is the CEO and founder of Nimble. And as you can see in this little top left box here, we have all of his basic information, such as his profile picture, his name, title, and company. I have all these little social media icons because I made sure to document that in Nimble as well. And we also make it really easy for you to do short actions from within this little bio box here. You can add notes just by clicking that little button there. And to close that note, you can just click this X. You can log past activities or schedule future activities. And as you can see, the interfaces are pretty similar, just to make it pretty easy for you to track these things. So let's close those out. Or you can send templated and tracked emails. So if I click this message button, click send email, here we have a lot of options, and I can go a little bit more in depth into emails later on in the webinar. And lastly, you can also add this contact to a deal, or add the deal to a contact. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But you can easily add a deal from this top left bio box. If we go down one more box, it's really easy to set up your privacy options here. So right now, as you can see, I have my contact shared with everyone, but I can change that by clicking this little drop-down menu, and I can change it either to private just to me, viewable to everyone but not editable by everyone, or I can set up custom privacy groups. These privacy groups are really useful if you want each of your teams and or departments to have different sets of permissions. And this can really speed up your onboarding process for any team members you're adding to Nimble. So for example, every time you add a new sales rep to your team in Nimble, you can just add them to your sales team settings, and they'll have the exact same permissions as everyone else on your sales team. So back to the Nimble record, or Nimble contact record, you can also set up your stay in touch reminders here. So if I close that out and click this drop-down menu here, you can see that we have our different pre-made options. We have weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, and custom time periods here. And you can also reset your reminder or remove it. And then finally, in this little box here, we can set the owner of the contact. Right now I have it set to myself. I could leave it unassigned, or I could give it to a team member. Alrighty. Let me see. If we scroll down a little bit more, here you can see a little smart summary right here. And this is very useful if you'd like to have a very customized email or customized outreach to them. This gives you a little overview of who they are and what they're all about. And then down here, you can quickly edit, add, etc., different kinds of tags. So right now I have 3 tags. If I wanted to add more, I could type them into this box here. Or if I wanted to delete them, I can click the little X. So let's save that. All right, and last, well, not really last, but down here on the very bottom, you can also customize your lead qualification. So you can edit, review, or create, to go back, you can edit, review, and create new tags using this little box here. And you can also qualify leads using fields like rating, status, source, and type. You can see all those right here. These individual fields can be customized in settings. So again, we'll go up to this top right button here, and then go down to data fields. And that's where you can customize what appears in this lead details area. All right, so that's it for the left-hand side of the contact record. Up here, if I scroll all the way back to the top, under interactions, you can see the entire history of interactions you've had with this person, including all notes, emails, Twitter messages, deals, and any activities. And as you might be able to guess, the longer that you stay in contact with your contact, you'll have a lot of information appearing in this all tab. And so it might get a little overwhelming to have to look through every single interaction that you have with the person. An easier way to go back into your interactions with your contact is by looking in the individual tabs. So here we have activities, and if you click this drop-down menu, you can see the different kinds of activities. Here we have notes, messages, and these messages include emails and Twitter DMs or comments, etc. And then finally, you can see the deals in the very last tab. All right, so next to the interactions tab, we go one to the right, we have data fields. Now the data fields tab, within this tab, you can create up to 5 custom tabs, and under each of them, up to 200 individual custom fields. And all of these fields can be segmented. It's ideal to use for any specific information you'd like to record. And again, if you'd like to configure these fields, just go all the way up to settings, and then data fields again. All right, and then at the very end, we have files. So you and your team members can also upload files to your contact records from your computer, OneDrive, Google Drive, or Dropbox. All right, and that covers everything on the contact page. So let's go back to the main contacts page and go over segmentation. Now there are a couple ways that you can launch segmentation. So the first way is if you go to the top of this contact list view, click segment search, you'll open up this window here. You can also open up this window by going to the left, like dark blue bar here, click plus, add segment, and it, as you can see, takes you to the exact same view. All right, so this segmentation feature is really useful to search across many different data fields to organize your contacts into lists. And once you've organized your contacts into a list, you can take bulk actions, send group messages, and set follow-up tasks. So let's work through an example together. I'm going to start by adding a contact filter with this purple button. And let's go with people who have an email. So I'm going to type in their email, click email, and to put in people who have an email address, we'll put is not empty, and then update that. All right, this is still a pretty big list, so let's see people who, I don't know, have a name that starts with T. Or contains T. Can I do that? Nope, can't do that. All right, let's just go with people who last contacted. All right, cool. So there we go. Now we have a much shorter list of people here. And you can further refine the search by any original or even like custom fields. Once you have your search, you can take several actions. So first we'd want to select all, and you can do that by clicking this little box in this filter region here. Okay, so select all of your contacts. And here you can see once you select them, this little menu will appear on top of the chart. So you can mark all of these contacts as important. You can give them a certain tag, set stay in touch reminders, and again we have these preset periods as well as custom period, or you can take off a stay in touch reminder if there's already one set for them. Then you can also take some other bulk actions like changing the owner, privacy, or even adding them to a lead pipeline, which I'll go over a little bit later. You can merge these contacts. I don't typically recommend merging contacts, but if you needed to, you definitely can. And on the topic of merging contacts, Nimble will automatically merge all contacts that have exactly the same email address. So just keep that in mind. You can also export these contacts. And then also you can send a group message. So once you click that button, it'll take you to the group messages window. So Nimble allows you to send targeted email messages to 100, 200, or 300 contacts per day, depending on your plan with us. And this is a really great way to send targeted sales outreach or marketing messages to lists of your contacts. The most common question that we get about Nimble's group messaging is if it can replace using a marketing automation system, and the simple answer is no. Our group messaging was designed to be used in conjunction with our segmentation feature and to allow you to send targeted email outreach. The biggest advantage of Nimble's group messaging is that the messages are sent from your personal email address, so they appear as if they were sent from you and not some anonymous email marketing system. When composing emails in the group messaging window, you have the option to use merge tags to make it more personal. So if I go into this box and click Add Merge Tag, you see we have these different options here. So let's click First Name. And when it appears in your group messaging window, it'll appear like this with the little asterisks, F name. This is just how the program can tell which field to put in. And so when this appears in your contacts inbox, it'll have their first name auto-populate this area. All right, you can also attach files to your email, have an unsubscribe link, etc. You can also change the little styles up here as well. All right, And you can also set up an email signature for yourself. And to do that, we're going to go to Settings. So it's this top right button up here. Go to Settings. And then in this left-hand side, go to Email Settings, and then Email Signature. And from here, you can either create a new email signature from scratch, or just copy and paste an existing email signature. And then once you've done that, you can click Save. So let's go back to Group Messages. Once you create your email, you also have the option to save it as a template to save time on retyping the same message again in the future, as well as pick from any existing templates. And you see these options in the very top here. So select template or save as new template. These templates are also shareable, so you can easily share them with your team. And going back to group messaging, before you send your outreach, you can also send yourself a test message with this little prompt down here. And this is really useful to make sure everything looks good, make sure there are no typos in the message, and any links you have added are working. Now, after you send your message, you can review the insights on clicks and opens. And this is also very useful to see how people are interacting with your emails. And this information can kind of guide your outreach process. So say, for example, you can send another email to someone who's replied multiple times, or someone who hasn't replied, just to kind of stay in touch with your contacts. So that's group messaging. Let's go on to activities. Let's see the listing feature. So our activities listing provides you with a comprehensive table of scheduled and completed activities. The table columns are easily configured, so you can quickly see which data is important to you. Additionally, activities can also be exported, and you'll be able to select the team members for whom you'd like to create the report on the left side. So you can see this little assigned to area here. These little icons here, you can just click that and then type in the name of your team member, or just check their name in this little drop-down menu. You can also pick which activities you want to see specifically. So if we go to this quick filters right next to the little assigned to area, we have tasks or events, calls, and your completed tasks. Oh, sorry, it's not completed tasks. It's completed anything. So tasks or events will show up here. All right, and you can also configure the table to focus on specific fields. And we have the time filter here, so you can see specific time periods as well. All right, and so to export this here, we have this export button. And here it gives you the option to either export the filtered activities, so whatever you prepared kind of behind this pop-up, or all activities. So if I go on to click export, this will give me a file, and I can use that for whatever else I need. And that's our activities listing feature. Let's go on to leads now. So our lead pipelines feature is relatively new, and it enables you to visualize the progress of your leads, qualifying them as they go through the buying phase and ultimately convert to a sale. You can utilize the customizable boards to create multiple pipelines and stages that fit your business needs. And at the beginning of your lead generation process, you may find yourself with a bunch of potential deals sitting at the early stages of your pipeline. These deals might not be ready to move forward through the sales process, but also might not be cold enough to be marked as lost or deleted. And this can cause a lot of clutter in your deals pipeline, which you don't want, and can distract you from focusing on the deals that require your attention. So in Nimble, you can add leads to your contact before, add leads to your account before adding them to your deal pipelines. The lead pipeline is a separate pipeline to store your pre-qualified leads before they become deals. So let's go into setting up our pipelines and stages. After you've acquired your new leads, they will go through a series of phases to be qualified. Now, depending on your business, these qualification stages may include scheduling a sales call or sending a marketing message, sending a quote, etc. To set up your pipeline so that it reflects your internal processes, you can go to this Leads tab up here and then choose Settings in the top right corner, all the way to the right. Now, once you click Settings, you can click this Add New Pipeline to start the process of naming your pipeline and creating stages. And this is what it will look like. So you're going to first name your pipeline and maybe give it a description if you want to make it easier for your team members to interact with it. I already have a couple examples set up, so let me go in there. So here we have my little influencer relationships pipeline. And you'll not only be able to name each of these stages, but you can also add instructions for each. So if I click Edit Stages here, it'll open up this menu here. Each of these stages will have a little pencil icon and a garbage icon. So if you click that pencil icon, you can edit the instructions of that stage. Save that. And then you can also click this drop-down menu to see how it appears. All right, and so that covers editing stages. If we go back and I scroll down this edit page, here we can see unsuccessful exit reasons, and you can also refer to this as lost reasons. And this can help you better understand trends and ways to improve upon your lead generation process. If we scroll down a little bit more, we have lead card fields. And you can customize the list of fields in each of the lead cards so that they reflect your business needs, or you reflect important information for your business. So once you've finished all of that, just make sure to save when you're done. And let's go back to our lead pipeline. So let me see the influencer relationships one. So here, as you can see, we have all of these little lead cards, and they show information that I previously determined in our settings. Okay. Full info about each of these contacts can be viewed by going into our listing view here. And as you can see, we have all of these different columns. Or I can click on them directly and go to their contact record here, which will give me everything I need to know about them. So that's our lead pipeline feature. Let's go on to deals now. You can use the deals feature to manage your sales opportunities, marketing projects, regular projects, renewals, and more. Nimble allows you to create as many pipelines as you need. The account owner can delegate permissions to different users to be able to configure and create pipelines. Now, to create a new pipeline or edit an existing pipeline, just go to the Customize Pipelines menu, and that will be in the top left. It's going to be this third blue button with the gear icon. So once you open that menu, we have a couple options here. So you can customize your existing pipelines by just clicking into them, or you can add a new deal pipeline. So you're going to start with naming it, you save, and then it'll give you this option just like here. All right, so if I go into our opportunities pipeline, here you can see you can add more stages. So Nimble gives the option to limit the number of days on each stage, and you can also add as many stages as you need for each of these pipelines. All of these stages are very easily customizable, so you can click and hold to drag and drop them. And if I click this pencil icon, again, you can change the limit of days in each stage, and you can change the name of the stage. All right, so let's go back to deals. To create a new deal, again, we're going to go to the top left-hand corner and click this little $ button and click New Deal. From here, you can name the deal, relate the deal to multiple contacts and companies, add the valued amount for the deal, schedule an expected close date, project the probability of closing, and choose the beginning stage of your deal. And so once you've input all of these fields, you can click Save. To export your deals from Nimble, you just click Export to CSV. You'll then be able to choose which deals you'd like to export. We have all deals, active, won, and lost. And you can also export lists based on deals owned by specific team members. So as you can see, I have this little drop-down menu here. All right, next up and last in the main Nimble app, we have reports. So Nimble enables you to build reports for specific pipelines for your team as a whole or by an individual user during any time period you select. Choose from one of our preset time periods up here. These little blue text buttons here. Or you can select a custom time period using this little calendar icon here. All right. So right now we're looking at our dashboard, and this is where you can view yourself and your team members' deal progress at a glance. Moving on to forecasted deals in this little left-hand menu, this will show all your future deal outlooks. You can sort by 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, etc. with these little blue text buttons, or again, you can customize your time period. And then lastly, we have deal history. And this is where you can view all historic deal results, sorting by your different time intervals again. And so here you see we have very similar blue text buttons for our preset time periods. And we also have this customized time period right here. And that covers everything in the main Nimble app. So let me get out of my full screen. Next up, I'm going to show you Nimble Prospector. Now, Nimble Prospector is a browser extension that's available on Firefox, Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Safari, and it works on any website, in any third-party cloud-based application, and on any social media platform. Okay, now speaking of social media, let's go to LinkedIn. Nimble Prospector will allow you to create new records and update existing ones straight from LinkedIn or whichever social platform you'd like to use. And you can simply hover over any hyperlinked name anywhere on LinkedIn. And let's find a name to do that with. All right, so here we have Nicole. All right, so let me open up my Nimble Prospector first. All right, so when you open up Nimble Prospector, this is what it looks like. And you can either have it on this side, or you can switch it to the other side if you'd like, just by clicking this little toggle position button on top of your icon. I like keeping it here personally, but Again, it's completely up to you. So if I hover over Nicole's name, it'll auto-generate a new contact for her. Similarly, if I go into her profile and highlight her name, it'll do the same thing. And then once we have this, we can just click that plus button, and now she's one of my contacts. And if I go into the contact record, you can see a pretty short, like at a glance view of your contact. And similarly to the contact record in the main Nimble app, so let's go back to John, we have the same functions here. So if I go back to this tab, you can add a note, log or schedule activities, send a message, or add them to a deal. And you can also change all of these privacy, stay in touch reminder settings, or even like the contact owner. So let me show you what this looks like in Gmail. All right, so if you're using Chrome and already installed the Nimble Prospector browser extension, the Gmail extension will automatically appear in Gmail. So let's go to, here's Michaela, and she's the marketing lead here at Nimble. As you can see, I just clicked on that email, and automatically the Gmail browser extension appeared for me right here. And so now I can see all the contacts in this email, or I can click her contact and do all the same actions as I can in here in Nimble Prospector. And unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier in today's webinar, I won't be able to show you what Outlook looks like, but I can assure you that it looks very similar to this. The only difference is that this Nimble icon here that you can see is actually going to be kind of on the top here in this like little row of other icons. And then it'll bring up this exact same view for you in Outlook as well. All right, and so that covers all of our main features. So now I'm going to go on to start answering people's questions. Oh, actually, wait, give me 1 second. Let me go over a couple things first. So here we have our next webinars. Today was just a general overview, so I went over kind of the gist of Nimble, but if you'd like to dive a little bit deeper into any of these topics, we have different more specific webinar topics coming up next month. Every other week we do our general overview, but in between we have these more specific ones like deals, pipelines, and reporting. That's going to be next week. And then in 2 weeks after that one, we have segmentation, group messaging, and custom fields in Nimble. And you can access all of these webinars by going to nimble.com/company/webinars. And Julie is going to put that into our chat box shortly. And we also have a special offer for all of our new users. So if you sign up today, you can get 30 days of Nimble for free if you use this link. So it's nimble.com/offers/webinar30. And again, you'll see that in the chat box. And finally, before I start our Q&A session, I'd like to invite all of you to join our Nimble community. So you can follow us on social media to stay updated on all things Nimble. We have Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And also, awesome fun announcement is that we just launched our Nimble product community page on LinkedIn. So Julie is going to give you all of those links in the chat box. We invite you to join all of them or whichever ones are more relevant to you. Okay. So finally, it is time for our Q&A session. Now, give me 1 moment to just set up here so I can see all of your questions. Okay. So Caitlin is asking, is there a setting where we can see a full list of active tags being used across all contact records to keep them clean and streamlined? All right, so this is a great question. Let me see if I can find it for you. Personally, I haven't tried doing this on my own yet, but let me see if I can find that. Might be in settings. Don't think it would be in data fields. No. Possibly contacts. Okay, here. So if you go into your contacts page, if you look at this left-hand bar, you should be able to see all tags that you have on all contacts. I only have 3, but depending on your company, you might have a lot more or a lot less. But this is where you should be able to see all of them. And as you can see, when I hover over each one, it shows this little pen icon and the trash can icon. And let me just test this out before I say anything. Okay, so if you were to delete a tag, it's only going to delete the tag and not all the contacts in that tag. And so if you want to take bulk actions on these tags, you're going to want to use our segmentation feature. And I hope that answers your question. All right, next up, Demetrios asks, can you save a search so you can you can have a look in the future with one button action? All right, so we have this support article here, and Julie can send that to you. But once you've built your search, you can save the search for easy access at a later time. Just click the save this search, or just click save at the top of the search. So let me do an example of that. So if I were to search for people who whose name starts with T, for example, give it a second to load. All right, so I have a list of people whose name starts with T. I can click the Save This Search button up here. And now I have it saved. I can edit the name of the search. So we can say people whose name starts with T. All right, I can save that. And so now I have this saved search. You don't have to go into the segmentation and like add all these filters every single time you want to see these people. And I hope that answers your question. All right, so next up, we have a question from Michelle. And she's asking, would you please explain how to tag contacts? Okay, so now that I have all these contacts up here, I can show you one of the ways that we can tag contacts. So if I click this little select all button right here, I have this little tag icon right next to the star, and I can just add a tag. So I can say T names or something, and then click add. And this is another way to save searches. So either you can save a search like this with all the filters, or you can just have a search ready to go, select all of them, and just add a tag. And you can access this list either through the tags or the segmentation. It just depends on how you prefer to organize your contact database. And you can also go into an individual contact. So let's go back to John. And if you scroll down to kind of like the bottom of the contact page, there's a little tiny box here that says tags. If you have a lot of tags, this box is not going to be tiny, but I only have 3 for him, so it is pretty small. And you can just click edit tags and then just type in a tag. If it's an existing tag, so for example, T names already exists now, it'll show up in this drop-down menu. But if it doesn't exist already, so for example, boss, that doesn't exist yet, so it'll give you the option to create a new tag called boss. And I hope that answers your question. Once you click enter, you can click save, and then your tags will be ready to access. All right, Dimitrios says, I had tried the product a couple of weeks ago and tried to remove the Nimble logo from the signature while sending an email. How do you remove it? Also, is there a required setting like specific fonts, etc., to add a new signature? All right, so I'm going to see if I can try to answer this question. I'm going to go to settings. We'll go to email settings and then email signature. Okay, I see what you mean about the Nimble signature. So let me just Control A and delete. You can do that. Oh wait, oops, hold on. So let me cancel that so I can go back to how it used to be. You can either just Control A, select all, and backspace, or you can highlight everything and just backspace like that if you want to keep this little blue bar. For some reason, my Control Z isn't working, but if you'd like to put in your own email signature, you can change the fonts with this little A underline button here. And we have these different font options. We also have sizes here. But we also give you the option to just copy and paste your existing email signature. And I hope that answers your question. And he also asks, how many custom fields can you create to segment the database? So I believe our segmentation feature takes like an infinite number of contact filters. And depending on the kind of list you'd like to see, you can go on and do as many of these filters as you need to reach the exact list of contacts that you'd like to see. And they also ask, can you include many contacts on one deal and tracking all the communications with all contacts? So you can add related contacts to your deals, but the leads pipeline might be a better option for this kind of thing. And Julie has a support article that she can send to you that kind of outlines our deals and pipelines and stuff. Okay, so we actually do have a lot of questions. Another one is, what's the key while uploading new contacts? I guess the email. And what happens if a contact already exists in the system? So if a contact already exists, they'll automatically just merge with whatever new contacts are importing if they have exactly the same email. And so you don't have to worry about re-uploading contacts for as long as the email field is the same. It'll just merge the contacts. And so hopefully to answer your question, the most important field when you're uploading your contacts is the email. You want to make sure that every email is exactly as it should be. So if you do upload a lot of contacts with the same email, Nimble can automatically take care of that for you. And we have another question from Dimitrios about a dark mode option. I actually don't think we have a dark mode option, but I think that's a great idea. So I'll bring that up with our dev team to see if we can maybe add that to our list of features. Thank you so much for that suggestion. I can forward it to whoever needs to hear that, because I think that's a pretty cool idea too. All right, so we have another question from Michelle. Can you go over creating a CSV with the correct column headings? I've seen the article. I'm looking for where I can see the headings should be comparatively. Okay, so let me see if I have like a spreadsheet that I can show you. Okay, so here we have a spreadsheet of all attendees for one of our recent webinars, right? So we have these little column headers here, and then all of their information down here. And what I mean by making sure that the column headers match is that you want to make sure you clean up your spreadsheets before you try to upload them. So what I can do is I'll just add a new sheet here and then take all of these contacts and then add them into the sheet like that. And so now we have kind of like a cleaner view. I know it doesn't look that clean, but what makes it clean is that all these column headers are at the very, very top, and then all the information is directly below it instead of how we have it in this sheet here, where we have kind of like this header area, and there's all this extra information that we don't need. And so when you're uploading a CSV file, just make sure that your information looks like this and your name areas are very well documented. So we have last name, first name, full name. I don't believe full name is necessary for adding a CSV file, but it helps a lot. And we also have the email address, and these are the most important ones that you want to have for your CSV file. And I hope that helps. If you need some extra help with that, I can forward your email to our care team and they can help take care of you. And also Michelle asks, can we tag them in the CSV? Is it possible to bulk tag? So I kind of went over bulk tagging in our segment search feature. So let's go back to people whose name starts with T. And I can bulk tag them using this feature like that. And I believe you can also tag while you're importing them in, let me see, networks and imports, CSV. All right. Oops. Name. I'll just say first name for now. Next. Okay, and then once you're at the end menu for import settings, you can add tags right here. Okay, we are pretty over right now, so if anyone has any more questions, we can have the care team help you. But thank you so much for everyone who attended today. I hope this webinar was helpful for you. Please let us know how we did. You can email marketing@nimble.com or let us know on social media. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Again, we have all of these new webinars coming up in the coming months. So please stay tuned for new webinars and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.